Hey everybody, it's me, Timmy Flyersguy, and welcome to another edition of the Flyersguys Top 10. I'm your host, Timmy Flyersguy. In my last episode, I counted down my top 10 favorite Philadelphia Flyers games of the 2007-2008 season. And in today's episode, I'm going to be counting down my favorite Philadelphia Flyers games from the 2008-2009 season. Before I get into that, here's a little backstory. During that season, in 2008, my wheelchair was giving me problems. We had to get it fixed. The first time it didn't work, we had to get the wheelchair fixed. And I was without a usable wheelchair for the longest time. I even had tickets to some of the preseason games that season, but I had to cancel those games. I had to cancel those games because my wheelchair was broken. So we had a backup wheelchair, but I couldn't drive that one. So I had to be pushed in it. And this was coming to the point where I wasn't able to really drive my wheelchair anymore. I started losing my ability to drive my wheelchair that year. So we got the wheelchair fixed, but I was still having my issues controlling the wheelchair again. But luckily at the end of that year, I got a whole new wheelchair that I could control myself, and I really felt great. Sorry, I had to tickle there. And it really felt great to get my independence back. Despite my issues. Despite my issues driving that wheelchair, I was able to get a new one that was much better and better at driving. And that was my story that year. Even though I was having problems driving my wheelchair, before I got the new one, I still went to games. Me and my dad still went to games. I watched a lot of them on TV, but there was a lot that we went to. There's a lot of games that me and my dad went to as well. So without further ado, let's talk about what happened in the previous season. In the 2007-2008 season, the Philadelphia Flyers made the playoffs. They beat the Washington Capitals in 7 games, beat the Montreal Canadiens in 5 games, and were eliminated by the Pittsburgh Penguins in 5 games. So without further ado, I'm going to be counting down my top 10 favorite Philadelphia Flyers games of the 2008-2009 season. And I forgot to mention, this would be the last season that the Lehigh Valley Phantoms would be playing in Philadelphia, as they would move to Glens Falls, New York, the following season. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Hey everybody! Alright. Okay! At number 10, Philadelphia Flyers, New Jersey Devils. From October, I think 25th, but I'm just going to say October of 2008. This game was crazy. It was a crazy day in Philadelphia. The Phillies, the Phillies were in the World Series. The Phillies were involved in the World Series, and there was a Flyers game at the Wachovia Center at 7 p.m. Well, actually, I think this game might have been. I think this was like a 5 o'clock. Might have been a 5 o'clock game. And me and my dad had tickets for this game. We had 3 tickets, so I took my sister with me. This game was crazy. There were 2 fights at the same time in this game. It was Riley Cote. He was in a fight. And Aaron Asham was in a fight too. After that, the Flyers, they played some good hockey. The game went into overtime. It looked like the Flyers had scored a goal. And before the goal got disallowed, some crazy fan threw a smoke bomb on the ice. After that, the game would conclude as the Philadelphia Flyers got the overtime game-winning goal, defeating the New Jersey Devils in overtime. This game was crazy. We had a hard time getting out of the arena, but we made it home in time to see what the Phillies are going to do in the World Series. So at number 10, Philadelphia Flyers, New Jersey Devils, from October of 2008. Next up at number 9, Philadelphia Flyers, Phoenix Coyotes, from November 22nd, 2008. I think I remember going to this game with my dad. This game was a back and forth affair. The game ended up being tied, and it went into overtime, where Mike Richards got the overtime game-winning goal against the Coyotes. So at number 9, Philadelphia Flyers, Phoenix Coyotes, from November 22nd of 2008. Next game is Philadelphia Flyers, Tampa Bay Lightning, from December of 2008. Hold on a second. I don't exactly remember the exact date, but this game occurred in December of 2008. The Philadelphia Flyers had premiered their new alternate orange jerseys. This game was a wacky game. The Flyers were winning the game. Tampa Bay was able to tie it up. The game went into overtime. On the breakaway, one of the Tampa Bay Lightning players skated on in, and Scott Hartnell threw his glove at the player on the breakaway. It was deemed to be a penalty shot. Luckily, Martin Biron made the save, and overtime continued as the Flyers were able to get the overtime game-winning goal against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So at number 8, hold on a second. What number was that? Okay, that was number 9. So at number 8, Philadelphia Flyers, Tampa Bay Lightning. For some reason I can't enlarge this for some reason. So I'm sorry if I can't enlarge the photo, but Philadelphia Flyers, Tampa Bay, number 8, Philadelphia Flyers, Tampa Bay Lightning, from December of 2008. At number 7, Philadelphia Flyers, New York Islanders. New York Islanders. From February 14th, 2009. This game was crazy. This game was wild. This game had everything. It had fights. It had big hits. It had lots of goals from the Philadelphia Flyers. As the Flyers skated away with a 5-1 victory over the New York Islanders. So at number 7, Philadelphia Flyers, New York Islanders. From February 14th, 2009. At number 6, Philadelphia Flyers, New York Rangers. From February of 2009. This was a really good game that aired on NBC, in which the Flyers defeated the Rangers in convincing fashion with a 5-2 victory. So at number 6, Philadelphia Flyers, New York Rangers. From February of 2009. At number 5, get number top 5. At number 5, Philadelphia Flyers, Carolina Hurricanes. From December 11th, 2008. In this game, the Flyers were down early in the game. They were down in the second. They were down 5-0 in the first period, and in the second period, the Flyers got on the board and narrowed the lead to 5-2. In the third, the Flyers scored 3 goals to tie the score up at 5-5. The game went into overtime, and then eventually a shootout, as the Philadelphia Flyers got the shootout victory, where Ninamasi was excellent in the shootout as the Flyers skated away with a 6-5 come from behind, an epic come from behind victory over the Carolina Hurricanes with a 6-5 victory. So at number 5, Philadelphia Flyers, Carolina Hurricanes from December 11th, 2008. At number 2, Philadelphia Flyers. Wait. Actually, that was number 4. So at number 4, hold on. Let me go back again. Hold on. Hold the phone. Okay. That was number 4. At number 4, Philadelphia Flyers, Carolina Hurricanes from December 11th, 2008. At number 3, Philadelphia Flyers, Pittsburgh Penguins, Game 3 of the 2009 Eastern Conference quarterfinals. The Philadelphia Flyers were down 2 games against the Pittsburgh Penguins. They lost games 1 and games 2 in Pittsburgh. They came back to Philly and defeated the Pittsburgh Penguins 6-3, cutting the lead in half in the series. So at number 3, Philadelphia Flyers, Pittsburgh Penguins, Game 3 of the 2009 Eastern Conference quarterfinals. At number 2, Philadelphia Flyers, Pittsburgh Penguins, Game 5 of the Eastern Conference, or the 2009 Eastern Conference quarterfinals. The Flyers in that series had lost the first 2 games. They came back to Philly to win Game 3 6-3. They lost game 4. And in game 5, the Philadelphia Flyers got a huge shutout victory. A huge shutout victory against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Cutting the Penguins' lead in half at 3-2. So they won. Cutting the lead in half at 3-2. And the Philadelphia Flyers shut out Pittsburgh to force a game 6 back in Philadelphia. So at number 2, Philadelphia Flyers, Pittsburgh Penguins, game 5 of the 2009 Eastern Conference quarterfinals. And now we get into our number 1 pick. And that is, hold on a second, I think I messed up here. Give me a second. I think I messed up here. Alright, I think I messed up here. Hold on, I messed up. Alright, so number 6, Flyers Rangers. That game against the Carolina Hurricanes was at number 5. The game against the Pittsburgh Penguins was number 4. The other game against the Pittsburgh Penguins was number 3. Okay, at number 2, Philadelphia Flyers, Toronto Maple Leafs, from April 3rd, 2009. This game was crazy. There were fights, and the Flyers absolutely embarrassed and dominated the Toronto Maple Leafs with a 9-3 victory. I attended this game with my dad, and this game was absolutely amazing. So at number 2, Philadelphia Flyers, Toronto Maple Leafs, from April 3rd, 2009. And now we get into our number 1 pick. And the number 1, Philadelphia Flyers, Washington Capitals, from December 20th, 2008. This game was a dominating game for the Philadelphia Flyers, as they skated away with a 7-2 victory over the Washington Capitals. In this game, Ontario Yanamaki was excellent, denying Alex Ovechkin not once but twice in that game, as the Flyers defeated the Washington Capitals in dominating fashion with a 7-2 victory in Philadelphia. And just like that, ends another exciting countdown here on the Flyersguys Top 10. After the 2008 and the 2009 playoffs, the Philadelphia Flyers lost to the Pittsburgh Penguins in 6 games. Many years later, there are some new faces, and the Flyers are new faces on the Flyers. The following year after that, in 2009-10, the Philadelphia Flyers had guys like Chris Pronger, goaltender Ray Emery, James Van Riemsdyk, and many others. That year, the Flyers got into the 2010 playoffs with a shootout victory over the New York Rangers on April 2010. Flyers defeated the New Jersey Devils in 5 games. They defeated the Boston Bruins in an epic comeback in 7 games and defeat the Montreal Canadiens in 5 games to capture the Eastern Conference Championship. They then faced off against the Chicago Blackhawks and were eliminated in 6 games as the Chicago Blackhawks won the Stanley Cup. Guys, thank you for joining me here in this episode. I'm glad that I can talk about some of my favorite Philadelphia Flyers games of the 2008-2009 season. And stay tuned for the next episode, as I'll be counting down my top 10 favorite Philadelphia Flyers games of the 2010-2011 season. And then after that, I'll be counting down. And then after that, I'll be counting down my top 10 favorite Philadelphia Flyers games of the 2011-2012 season, and following up with my favorite Flyers games of the 2013-2014 season. And then I'll be talking about my favorite Flyers games of the 2019-2020 season. And that is when I'll conclude the video after that. That will be the finale. Guys, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.